What's up, guys? Welcome to the first SportUniverse Podcast. Our saying here is that the sports are our universe. I'm Brian, and I'm joined with Nick.
What's going on, guys?
So I'm just going to go over what the SportUniverse is, and then we're going to get into some topics we're going to discuss. I don't know how long this is going to be, but for those viewers out there, which are probably our parents right now, because no one else is going to listen to this. But, okay, so the SportUniverse. It started, I don't think Nick even knows this, so it started in 2 years ago. Me and my family were furniture shopping, and I was really bored. So I picked up my phone and went on Instagram and started the Met Universe, which was Met's Instagram page. And I had been doing that for about 7 months, probably. And I think I got up to like 1,000 followers. And then I was like, why don't I expand it out a little bit, see what it can grow into? And so I started the SportUniverse. And so at first, the SportUniverse, I was just taking highlights from different accounts, like NBA accounts and stuff, and it was just highlight videos. And then I decided that that's probably not the best way to go about things, so I started kind of like this blog thing, and I invited some of my friends to start writing for it. And so that's where Nick comes in, if he wants to talk about that for a little.
Yeah, that would be me. So Brian texted me, hey, do you want to hop on? I had seen the Met Universe, I never really got into it with you. But I definitely had been looking for something, outside of school, outside of class to get involved in, something like this. And Brian texted me. I took the opportunity. And I wrote a couple articles, and I've been helping Brian, get a kick started. And here we are now.
Yeah. One of the big things, and it was something that my brother and other people were telling me, was that things like the sports industry and stuff like that, it's really hard to get into. And that made me think that the best way to actually get into that, if you want a job in those things, is to start something yourself. And it's not like I think this is going to be anything big, but it's certainly, I don't know.
Worth the shot.
Yeah, I guess worth a shot's the right way of saying it. So currently right now we have an Instagram page, a YouTube page, and the website, which is primarily the major thing. So that's about it for what the SportUniverse is. So Nick, like he said, he's a writer for it, and I guess now a podcaster.
Yeah.
And I guess you would call me the founder, but whatever. And so now we're going to get into some actual stuff, because who wants to hear about background the whole time? Okay, so we're going to start with the NBA draft. When was that? Was that on Tuesday? Was that the NBA draft lottery? Is that Tuesday?
Last week.
Yeah, okay, last week, whatever. So yeah, I just wrote an article about that on TheSportUniverse.com. Quick plug right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a Knicks fan, so as anyone would know, I wanted Zion Williamson. So the Knicks needed to get the first overall pick for that. And going into it, everyone was like, it seemed like everyone was taking advantage of the fact that the Knicks were definitely going to get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, very true.
And I started to think about it, and I was like, that's not a very smart. Well, that's not the right word. That's not a very, what's the word?
Good mindset to go into the draft with.
Yeah, but it wasn't just a given for them, especially this year after they changed all the odds and everything, and the first 3 picks. The first 3 picks all had the same odds, and the Knicks went in with 14% odds to get the first overall pick, and I was thinking, there's a very not a high chance for them to get the first overall pick. And then I was just like, oh my god, this isn't going to end up well. And so I was sitting in one of my friend's room, and they got to the 5th pick, which was the highest that they could get to, and that's when the nerves started to kick in, and it was who got the 5th pick? Was that the No, it wasn't. Was it the Lakers?
The 5th pick was Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Cleveland, and then what?
Cleveland got number 5. It was the Lakers at 4.
Yeah, Lakers. Okay, yeah. I was like, okay, we're at 3, and then of course, whatever the guy's name turns the thing around. And I see the blue and orange thing. And I'm like, oh my god, here we go. Yeah, but I mean, R.J. Barrett is probably who the Knicks are gonna get. It's not like the worst thing ever, and he could turn into something.
For sure. I guess from a Rockets perspective, since I'm a Rockets fan, there isn't much to go on. I guess from a Knicks perspective, it's still not everything is lost because you do have the 3 pick. You have Knox. You have Ntilikina. You have a lot of options there. What you can do with what you have. You could go. You can go for the 1st pick. You could. My idea is you'd put in a bundle. You take Ntilikina. You take Knox in the 3rd pick. You go for Anthony Davis. You go for the 1st pick. You could go maybe out of left field and pick another All-Star up. There's a lot of options there.
Wait, so you think that they should trade for the number 1 pick?
Yeah, I think they could with Knox, Ntilikina, and the 3rd pick. I could see maybe New Orleans taking that.
I don't know.
I think they have a better chance of getting AD. Yeah, I think they have a better chance of getting AD, so New Orleans would want to start 100% fresh.
True.
But, I mean, the Knicks could also just sit on the 3rd pick and, again, pick up R.J. Barrett. I think the bigger thing to take away from the draft is that the lottery system is broken within itself because 14%, they have to raise that. 14% doesn't give a team like New York, who is by far the worst team in the league, they only have a 14% chance of getting the best pick. New Orleans got it. Lakers, almost a playoff team.
Yeah. I guess it was just it was their first try of stopping
tanking,
and I mean, it definitely makes sense trying to stop that, and I saw where they were going with it, but of course the Knicks had to be the one to be the worst team the first time they do this. But with the whole Anthony Davis thing, I've been debating that for a few days now, more than a few days, ever since they got the 3rd pick. But I don't know, because they have, the Knicks having, I feel like they're going to get KD and Kyrie, which we've talked about that you don't think that they're going to, because Zion, you think, is the main piece of that, which, I don't know, I feel like that those rumors were going around before that was going on, but whatever. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. I don't know if they should go after Anthony Davis, because I feel like having role players like Knox, Ntilikina, even though I don't think Ntilikina's that good, or Robinson, the Knicks right now are full of role players, which is what teams that have main stars need. And if they get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I feel like that's good enough, along with the players that they have right now, to contend for definitely the conference finals, and I think the finals as well. Because if you look at the Celtics, I mean, they were a disappointment this year, but they did pretty good with basically having one star, because Tatum didn't live up to
expectations.
Yeah, and who was the other guy? Gordon Hayward was injured. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like maybe just stay where you're at. R.J. Barrett's not bad. He could turn into something like any pick can, and maybe, even though I don't think he's going to, Zion could always turn into a bust, and maybe don't put all your eggs into one basket, or whatever that saying is. So, yeah, that's basically it for that. I mean, it's just so annoying being a Knicks fan, and what I said in my article was that they actually accomplished something that you didn't think they would. I thought they would be bad, but they'd figure out a way to not put themselves in the best position to get the number 1 pick, because the Knicks just are just a stupid organization in general. And it just, all of my teams, which I'm a Mets fan, Jets fan, they all figure out ways to be terrible, and just make stupid decisions one after the other. But they finally did something good, and then they don't end up getting what they wanted. But I mean, that's just from a Knicks fan's perspective. But so do you think that you don't think that the Knicks are going to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
I mean, I think if they got Zion, it was a lot more likely. Now, I don't know. I see your point there. I can say this. I do think Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going to leave the Celtics and the Warriors because Kyrie obviously does not like being in Boston. It's been shown time and time again. And you look at Kevin Durant. I mean, there was this piece by Colin Cowherd. He said he got a text that Kevin Durant to the Knicks is a done deal, which I don't buy at all.
I also saw the thing about Stephen A. Smith.
They're always wrong, but I don't know, because you look at Kevin Durant in interviews and even Klay Thompson, they just seem like they don't want to be there because just the stigma of being on the Warriors and everyone expects them to win. If Kevin Durant and the Warriors get their ring this year, which I'm certain they will, I think Kevin Durant's going to go because he got his rings from Golden State. He probably wants to go play for a team that I guess he can build around.
Yeah, I think that's
because I mean, for the past 10 years, it's been LeBron's era, and what does LeBron do? He takes a team and he makes them that much better. And I think Kevin Durant is trying to match that because Kevin Durant cares a lot about basketball and his legacy over money and other variables.
I think a big thing for him is getting. He doesn't say that it bothers him, but the whole snake and cupcake thing that everyone says that he is, I think that's a large part of why he wants to leave. And I haven't really decided if it's better for him to lose with the Warriors, for him going to the Knicks, if it's better for him to lose or win with the Warriors, because if he wins, that would be 3 in a row, and he could want to go for that 4 in a row thing, which I don't know if that's ever been done.
I see what you're saying. And then if they don't, then he's going to go, okay, well, if they don't win, okay, we have the best team roster in the league, and we still couldn't win a championship, so what's the point of staying here? Yeah, I pondered that for a while, too. And honestly, either way, I still think Kevin Durant leaves.
Yeah, I think so, too. It's just, I don't see, if he leaves, this is just me being too optimistic, I think. I don't see him on another team besides the Knicks. I haven't heard anything about other rumors with what other... I mean, I guess the Wizards, maybe, because I know he's from Washington or that area.
Out of left field, I might be able to maybe see him going back to OKC, because from what I've heard, that him and Russell Westbrook still have a decent relationship, so... And now they have Paul George, and he's willing to take a pay cut. So he could fit in OKC. I mean, that's just another option.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely would fit back there. But that would be crazy.
There's a ton of free agents this summer. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard, moving on from KD. Kawhi Leonard, I think he stays in Toronto after everything. I mean, the environment there has been great for him. Yeah, he made it to the Western Conference Finals. The environment's been good for him. He's performing well. It seems like his morale is up. So I think with a good conversation with management, because going on the Raptors in the Western Conference Finals, I think the Bucks are going to take the series. And so I think if Kawhi and management, which it seems like they have a good relationship, management could say, look, we're going to bring in some talent this offseason. We're going to get things right. We're going to get ourselves in place for a championship. Then I definitely could see Kawhi Leonard staying there.
Yeah. I haven't really been watching the playoffs. I mean, when it's not the Knicks playing in the playoffs, I can't, focus myself on an actual series unless it's in a Game 7. But, yeah, I definitely think Kawhi Leonard's going to stay.
Kawhi Leonard's been playing pretty well. Kawhi Leonard's so close to a player like Michael Jordan or LeBron, but for me, he never gets there. He does everything pretty well, but there's nothing he does fantastic, which again makes him a superstar in his own right. But I don't think it's ever going to be Kawhi Leonard's era. So I definitely think that the Raptors need to bring in some more talent or change something. It's kind of like my Rockets. I feel like both the Raptors and the Rockets have a ton of talent, and they just cannot seem to win.
Yeah, wait, who did you say that you want the Rockets to get in the summer? Was it Jimmy Butler?
I hope the Rockets can make a bid at Jimmy Butler because apparently I think it was Las Vegas odds. They have Jimmy Butler. The second highest odds Jimmy Butler would be the Rockets. The problem is the Rockets have no cap space. They have no picks.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of room, so they'd have to trade Eric Gordon and along with some figure right away to get him some cap space because Jimmy Butler also said he wants a max contract.
Yeah,
So it causes a lot of the problems. But I think what the Rockets do this offseason is going to be really dependent on what the Warriors do. Because personally, I feel like the Rockets have enough talent to win the championship if the Warriors didn't exist.
Yeah, if only the Warriors didn't exist.
Because, I mean, the Rockets have a solid starting five.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They probably pay Chris Paul a little bit too much, but I feel like the talent is there. They have good role players. It's just the Warriors are just that good. If Kevin Durant leaves, then I feel like the Rockets might just sit on their team. But if he decides to stay, then the Rockets might make a move at a player like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like if Kevin Durant leaves, then the Rockets, well, depending on what the Knicks do, because, whatever. I think the Rockets probably have at least tied for the best team. Because they're just set up, because it's still going to be the Warriors that are going to, well, actually, we don't know what Klay Thompson does.
Yeah, we don't know. Klay Thompson looks like he wants to leave, too.
True. So that could just be a whole mess up right there, but...
But if Durant does leave, then it would leave the Warriors to have enough cap room to sign Klay to a max deal. So you really don't know. I mean, going through the list of free agents this season, we have beyond Durant, Leonard, Irving, Thompson, Kemba Walker, Tobias Harris. We talked about Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, D'Angelo Russell, Kristaps is technically a free agent. Vujicic, DeMarcus Cousins, Malcolm Brogdon, Al Horford, Julius Randle, Marcus Gasol, Brook Lopez. I mean, there's so much talent that it's going to be under free agency this year that I feel like the NBA landscape could change so heavily in this offseason.
That's like why it's important for like teams like the Knicks to take advantage of this offseason because they're not.
Yeah, that's why I definitely, looking at the Knicks, I definitely wouldn't count out that they get a good free agent over the offseason.
Or two. They need two. They can't just do it with one. But I mean, they could get someone with Kevin Durant, but.
And then a lot of it also depends on how the playoffs go. Because I personally, I'm predicting that the Bucks is going to be Bucks versus Warriors. I'd probably say Warriors in 6. I feel like the Bucks are the best team to take on the Warriors too because Giannis. Let's say I'm assuming Kevin Durant comes back for the series. The best person to guard Kevin Durant would be Giannis. He's got the length, he's got the athleticism, and then you just you pair up Giannis on KD, and then you have the game plan for Curry and Klay. Definitely not an easy matchup, but that would probably be what I would see going into the finals. That's the two teams that I would see.
Yeah. So it's
assuming that the Bucks do make it to the finals. They'll probably make a heavy bid at Chris Middleton to get him back since they made the finals.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they're probably going to overpay him to get him to stay on the roster.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
They don't have anyone else leaving, right?
They have a lot of role players. Bledsoe.
Yeah, I wasn't counting.
Brook Lopez.
Right.
They traded Thon Maker. I love Thon Maker.
Thon Maker. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I agree with the Bucks and Warriors. I don't see the Blazers doing anything.
Yeah, they're finito.
Yeah, even though Damian Lillard's been really good. Not this series, but he's been really good. Which is what our latest YouTube video is, so check that out. Yeah, I'd probably be Bucks, Warriors. I'd probably say in 5, to be honest. But that's just one game. Yeah, I guess. Do you have anything else for the NBA?
I feel like we talked about it all.
Yeah.
If anybody listening to this has any questions about the the NBA, in terms of the NBA.
Mom, Dad, if you have any questions.
Nah, if you have any questions, contact me.
Okay, I guess we'll go on to the NFL. There's not really,
Hmm.
I don't really follow the NFL that much. This is basically what the theme is. I only really follow my main teams and don't really focus on anything else. So the big news was that the Jets, for some reason, fired Mike McCagnon and
Hmm.
hired, what's his face? Adam Gase as the interim GM, who Mike McCagnon ironically just hired as the head coach. I don't know. What did you think about that?
I think it makes
You're
no
a
sense.
football guy.
I think it makes no sense. If let's say the owners plan to fire the GM, why let him choose the head coach and then make free agency moves and then draft and then fire him?
Yeah.
Especially when, looking objectively of how they did during the draft and free agency, they had an excellent free agency. In my opinion, the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
They picked up, C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, tons of talent all around. They drafted Quinnen Williams. They turned themselves from a team that was generally laughable to, I think, pretty much playoff bound at this point.
Yeah.
Not saying they're going to win any significant games.
Yeah.
I could not tell you. That we won't. They look good on paper. We won't know until they hit the field. But I think the GM did a solid job. No, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with the Adam Gase hiring.
Yeah. I guess it's interim, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, but I just feel it doesn't make much sense. Let him go through that whole process and then fire him.
The only thing that I could think of, which is what my dad said, was that it doesn't make sense to fire GM right before the draft because they basically know the secrets of the team and what they're gonna draft and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it just
I could see that.
A weird time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I would have fired him a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rather than let him go through the whole draft process and then fire him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily fire him right before the draft, but.
And I saw a headline. I don't know where it was. I think it was ESPN or Bleacher Report, and they're like, "Can Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell trust Adam Gase?" And I'm thinking that's not a good way to start 10-year with a team with two of their Sam Darnold's not a start yet, but two of their key players having to think about if they still trust the head coach that they've had for 2 months or whatever it's been.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then I saw one of the reasons was that Adam Gase didn't like the contract that they gave Le'Veon Bell, and that there are even rumors about them trying to trade Le'Veon Bell before
I saw that.
Starts. That's a Jets move if they do that. But
yeah, I doubt they'll trade Le'Veon Bell.
That's an actual thing.
Honestly, people are like, "Oh," I saw the reports too. They were saying that his reps might decrease. I'd probably say that his reps would increase. The fact that Adam Gase goes, okay, he probably did say, I don't want to pay a running back $70 million because running backs are so expendable in the NFL. The fact that they did pay one, he's going to go, well, I'm going to use him now.
I gotta use him, yeah, definitely. I really hope that. I don't even know what I hope, but I feel like Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell, that's a good combo, especially what the Jets were 3 years ago to what they are now. It's a very nice situation. Did the Giants do anything?
The Giants have, they traded Odell.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at that trade now, I feel like it was good for Odell. The benefit out of that was Odell. He gets a quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and his situation seems decent in Cleveland. Even though I watch Colin Cowherd a lot because not necessarily for information, but I find him entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Odell's been in Cleveland for 3 out of the 65 days that he's been traded there, so that's pretty interesting. And then him and Baker Mayfield fought Colin on Twitter, so that was a whole fiasco. But I feel like that situation's better for Odell. I feel like the Giants could have got more out of the trade, maybe a first rounder.
Yeah.
Going into the draft, I feel like the Giants drafted, looking at it after the draft, okay. They obviously didn't like the Daniel Jones pick. They think they picked him too high. I talked about it in my article. Anybody wants to go check that out.
Quick plug.
Yeah. So I thought the draft was okay overall.
Mm-hmm.
And now going into the season, I guess we got to figure things out. I feel like the Giants, they have talent. this could be a team that can make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the Giants always are a team that can make the playoffs.
Because they have talent. It's just how they're going to mold.
Yeah.
The offensive line improved. I feel like picking up Golden Tate was pretty decent, and now we picked up Slayton from Auburn in the draft, mixed with Shepard, 3 pretty much slot receivers in my opinion, but it's still a decent wide receiver core. So a decent wide receiver core, decent O-line, amazing running back. You have a decent quarterback coming in. The D-line for the Giants, I think, is pretty underrated. I think B.J. Hill was pretty good last year. He had 5 sacks on the year. O'Shane Ximenez, I personally believe he's going to be one of the breakout rookies this year. I think he's really talented looking at his film. They picked up DeAndre Baker. They picked up Julian Love from Notre Dame. So, honestly, they picked up Jabril Peppers in the trade. So, the Giants are coming together. Lorenzo Carter is coming into his second or third year. I forget. That's a linebacker. Alec Ogletree looked great last year. So, I feel like the Giants are coming together. Like, I see what Gettleman's doing. I just don't think he's doing it optimally.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely not doing what the fans would want.
What the fans like. When you sit back and look at it, he's not doing a terrible job. The team is building. I just feel like he's not building it the best he could.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I guess sometimes the fans don't have the best opinions, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Jets will be better than the Giants, but that's just my opinion.
I could definitely see that. That's why I love football, because unlike basketball where you have 5 players on the court, if you have that superstar out there, that team is probably going to win. You know, we know the Warriors are going to win. We know who's going to win. With football, talent only brings you halfway. Your game plan and how the team meshes together and who's coaching, those things matter so much. Like, even where you play matters. Mm-hmm. Home or away, the temperature. You never know who's going to be good.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Because, look, Vikings were great last year. Not this past year that they played, but the year before that. Yeah. And, that they lost they win that. No, they won, right? They won on the miracle play. I forgot what the play is called. Yeah, they won the miracle play. And then look how they did last year. They were abysmal.
Yeah. It's a very, what's that word? Whatever.
Unpredictable sport.
Yeah. The Jets are always bad, so it'd be nice if they're good. I guess that's enough football talk. So baseball time.
Tis the season.
I have a large rant about the Mets. I don't know if you want to talk about the Yankees for a little bit.
I'll go into the Yankees pretty shortly.
Nick is a Yankees fan.
The Yankees have been pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think really they need to figure out how to stop injuring themselves, because we're down Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Didi Gregorius. Tanaka's just got a shin injury,
and
yet they're still in first place. Yeah, I think
really
with the Yankees, with the money they have, and then I think the most impressive thing about the Yankees is their scouting team and the people they bring up from AAA.
That's true.
Because when they have a superstar go down, they fill somebody in. He looks like a superstar.
Yeah,
So I think, the Jets. The Yankees AAA is and their lower seeds. That's where the Yankees are made. I don't even think it's at the major leagues at this point. But it should be exciting to see how the Yankees go if they can keep on their hot streak before the players get back. Who knows? The superstars like Aaron Judge or whatever, they might come back and the Yankees might be worse.
That's true. Yeah, it's hard for me to admit, being a Mets fan and being a diehard Mets fan, as many people who know me know, that the Yankees actually being good, but there's nothing that I can say against them. Once they started losing all their players, I was like, there we go. They finally get the Mets luck a season, and then they go being the Yankees and are I don't even know how many games over 500, while the Mets are 3 or 4 games out of 500.
Yeah.
Okay, so
today, go into the Mets now.
Yeah, I'm either gonna post this tomorrow or today. Today is the 20th. News broke that Yoenis Cespedes, who's been injured for basically his whole Mets career, fell off his horse at his ranch and broke his ankle, or I saw the report said ankles or like ankle injuries. I don't know how you can have more than one. I guess the ankles probably has a lot of parts that can get injured. So he broke his ankle, and when it's a broken bone, that doesn't heal very quickly, and he's already been out for 8 months or something like I don't even know. And so he's injured for a while now, but that's not really my rant about the Mets. This is going to be a very disorganized rant because I don't really have all my emotions is the wrong word. All my whatever emotions. And so going into the season, Brody Van Wagenen and was talking about how this is their season and they're going to go for it, and they were making all these trades, making all these moves to have this season be like the season that Mets fans have been waiting for since, you could say 2015, but since 1986, and actually win a World Series. And then, so they go out, get Robinson Cano, lose all their talent that they had in the minor leagues. And so going into the season, you'd think, okay, the Mets are going to be actually good this year. They might not have a future, but going into the season, it was like, okay, the Mets will be good. I didn't understand in the beginning of the season everyone saying that the Nationals were going to be so good because they had lost Bryce Harper. They had pitching, but we saw with the Mets how pitching doesn't always pan out to be a good team. So I didn't think the Nationals were going to be good, and they're not good this year. I thought the Phillies and the Braves were definitely going to be good and going to be the problem for the Mets. And so they started their season, and they were doing good, and then their pitching was sucking. And that's their main thing. But luckily their offense was doing really good, which they haven't been doing for years now. And now we get to May 20th, and nothing is going good for the Mets. They just got swept by the Marlins. They don't want to go out and get Craig Kimbrell or Dallas Keuchel, which are two pieces that will be very helpful for the Mets. And it's just so terrible being a Mets fan sometimes. There's nothing good that comes from it except for periods of happiness where they started the season last year 11-1, and then they end the season 10 games under 500. And I just feel like they need to fire Mickey Callaway because he's proven nothing. They need to not build around pitchers next time they rebuild, build around hitters, because pitchers are so wishy-washy. Even if they're good one year, they're bad another year, or they get injured another year. And there's just everything that this is just a pessimistic Mets fan point of view, but everything they do is just sucky. Robinson Cano has been poo-poo this whole year, even though they gave up a bunch for him. Jerry Familia has also been an equivalent of duty, and it's just so bad, and I don't understand why they haven't fired Mickey Callaway yet. Who gets swept by the Marlins and is 4 games under 500
The
and
Mets.
hasn't proved the Mets, yes, and still has the same head coach. I don't think the Marlins have swept a team since 2017. I think I saw that stat. So bad. And the whole thing with Mickey Callaway was that he didn't have a roster, a actual roster last year, except for pitchers, to actually show if he was good or not. And now he does have a good team, or at least we think a good team, and he's also proven to do nothing with that. So I think that there should be a new manager. I don't know who that would be, but anything's better than what they have right now. So that's my Mets rant. I have really nothing else to say. I don't know if you have anything else.
I guess the podcast is coming to an end at this point.
Yeah.
I just want to say that for all our viewers and our listeners, this is a work in progress. This is our first one. We hope to get better as we go along. If you have any suggestions, comments, go to thesportuniverse.com or you can email us at thesportuniverse@gmail.com.
2019@gmail.com.
You could go to the Instagram. You could go to, contact me, Nicholas Horvath, 10@yahoo.com. So, leave suggestions, comments, concerns, whatever you want. We keep getting better. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Brian, any last words?
Yeah, I have a little something to say. So next week we're supposed to have a new member to our crew. I'm not going to tell you that yet, leave you in suspense. I'm sure you're very excited. Like Nick said, let us know if you have any comments about things. If you're interested in joining the Sport Universe crew, such as being a writer or an editor for our videos, we're always interested to hear. So contact us at thesportuniverse2019@gmail.com. And thanks for listening.
Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Say you want someone. Say you want.